What is going on, Trash Talkers? We're back with another episode for you. In today's video, we're going to give you our best bets for Week 14 in the NFL. All that and much more coming your way right now! Hey Trash Talkers, over 85% of you are still not subscribed to the channel. Please be sure to hit that red subscribe button and turn on notifications, as it will help us create more daily content for you. Thank you and enjoy today's video. All right, Nick, Week 14 is here, and we've already concluded with Thursday Night Football, but now we get into the meat and potatoes of Week 14, and we start off with the New Orleans Saints taking on the New York Jets. Nick, what is the bet you're looking forward to in this one?
So in this matchup, we have the Saints at a 5-point favorite with a 43-point over-under. It's surprising to see the Saints on top for once, but I think that they might actually have a shot. I think that they have a shot to win the game. But that just means it's going to be a close game, which means I'm looking at the Jets at their +5. I believe that they'll be able to cover the spread there. Take the Jets at +5 this week.
Next up, we see the Atlanta Falcons taking on the Carolina Panthers in an NFC South divisional showdown. The Falcons have actually been on the rise as of late, with their offense really starting to click, Russell Gage really getting involved. We're seeing Kyle Pitts starting to shine and become the tight end that he was drafted to be at the number 4 position. Now the Panthers, who are absolutely reeling right now, you don't know what you're going to get at the quarterback position. Is it Cam Newton? Is it PJ Walker? Who knows? And even if one of those guys is named the starter, do you really trust them? The only thing I trust about the Carolina Panthers is their defense, and even they have been shaky at best at times. So I'm taking the Atlanta Falcons at +3. I think they're going to be able to take you on a wild ride, but the Falcons are playing much higher, much more consistent, and at the end of the day, I trust them a lot more than the Panthers.
Up next, we have the Seattle Seahawks making their way to Houston, taking on the Texans. The Seahawks are 7.5-point favorites with a 41.5-point over-under. I can understand with the Seattle Seahawks winning their game over the 49ers and the Texans playing bad that you would have a 7.5-point spread. I just don't feel comfortable giving that much power to the Seahawks, saying that they have improved that much where they're going to have that much more over the Houston Texans. I know the Houston Texans are bad, and I fully expect the Seattle Seahawks to come out on top, which is why I'm taking them at their money line this week.
Next up, we see the Las Vegas Raiders heading to Arrowhead Stadium to take on the Kansas City Chiefs in an AFC West showdown. The Chiefs are 9-point favorites with an over-under set at 47.5. Kansas City Chiefs are looking strong on their current win streak, really coming out on top against some top-tier competition. And a lot of that has to do with the defense. The offense has been anemic at times, especially with all of the interceptions that Patrick Mahomes is throwing, most of which are not on him. It's his receivers that are letting him down, including Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. I think that there's a lot left to be desired with the Kansas City Chiefs, but when you're taking on the Las Vegas Raiders with all of the issues that they've had, with everything that they've gone through this season, I think the Chiefs are going to take full advantage of this situation. I'm taking the Kansas City Chiefs at -9.
Up next, we have the Baltimore Ravens facing the Cleveland Browns. Once again, twice in 3 weeks, or back-to-back games if you're the Cleveland Browns. Me and you differ on this one, Mike, but to me, the Baltimore Ravens are the better team, and they're going to yet again come out on top. And as we take a look at the numbers, it's actually the Browns that are the favorites in this one at home with a 42-point over-under. I like the Ravens in this one, but just because of how close this matchup is going to be, I'm going to take them at their spread at that 2.5 points. Give me that little cushion. I know they'll come out on top, just I need a little bit room for error.
Next up, we see the Dallas Cowboys head on the road to the Washington Football Team. Dallas is coming off of a massive victory over the New Orleans Saints on Thursday Night Football. The Cowboys are looking to find their form again with DeMarcus Lawrence back in the lineup. This offense needs to start getting going. We need to see a lot more consistency from both Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott. This entire offense is predicated on those two players alone. I need to see more from them. I think this is a get-right game, especially against a hard divisional opponent that is looking to get into the playoffs on your dime, I think the Washington football team are going to present a very tough challenge for the Dallas Cowboys. But in the end, I expect the Cowboys to come out on top. I'm taking the Cowboys at -3.5.
Up next, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the Tennessee Titans. The Titans come in at 9.5-point favorites with a 44-point over-under. The Tennessee Titans are coming off their bye week, and they know how to face the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jaguars are not a special team. They have not done anything of relevance this season, and if you look at the last few weeks, they've been blown out in each situation. I think it's going to be a similar case. The Tennessee Titans are getting some guys back, A.J. Brown, Julio Jones. They're going to have some people that they can work with, which means that they're going to be putting up points. The Jacksonville Jaguars are not going to, because the Tennessee Titans defense is better than they look. They're going to perform, and they're going to keep them at a minimum gain. I believe that the Titans will run away with it, and that's why I'm taking a little bit of a risk. I'm taking them at their -9.5-point spread.
Next up, we see the New York Giants hit the road, go all the way to the other side of the country to take on the Los Angeles Chargers. The Chargers come off of a massive victory where they took on the Cincinnati Bengals and absolutely dominated them. They beat the Bengals at their own game. But one thing we see consistently in the NFL is that once you have a very high-scoring game, the next week you usually come out flat, and that's what I expect to see from the Chargers. I think they're going to come out flat. I don't think they're going to play up to the same standard that they did with the Cincinnati Bengals, simply because there's not as much on the line for them right now. I expect that the Giants are going to be able to put up some points, not many. I'm going to take the Chargers, but it's going to be at their money line. I just do not trust either one of these teams to hit their spread. So Chargers money line, lock it in.
Next up, we have the Detroit Lions taking on the Denver Broncos. We see that the Denver Broncos are 8-point favorites with a 42-point over-under. The Detroit Lions are coming off of their first victory of the season, and they're looking to carry that over to a Denver Broncos team that just got smoked by the Kansas City Chiefs. The Broncos are trying to come back as well, as they are still in the playoff hunt. But it's going to be a tough matchup because the Lions not only play their teams close, I think a lot of teams try to sleep on them, and the Lions really prove them wrong. The Broncos are a team, if they fall asleep at all, they are going to lose this game, which means I think the Lions have a shot. I know they're going to keep it close, and I think it's going to be close enough where you can take them at their +8 spread and be happy with it.
Next up, we see the San Francisco 49ers take on the Cincinnati Bengals. Both of these teams coming off of massive losses. The Cincinnati Bengals actually getting mollywopped against the Los Angeles Chargers. We see the San Francisco 49ers can't do anything on offense without Deebo Samuel. He is their offense. Now we see the 49ers on the road going to Cincinnati. The Bengals need to make a statement here in this game. They need to be able to put up points against the San Francisco 49ers if they want to continue to contend for the AFC playoff picture. Right now, this is a 1 point, basically a toss-up with Vegas, and I'm taking the Cincinnati Bengals at -1. I believe that they are the better all-around football team, and with the San Francisco 49ers having so many questions on the back end of their defense and no Deebo Samuel, I do not trust this team at all. I believe the Cincinnati Bengals are a much better team right now, and I'm taking them at -1.
Next up, we have the Buffalo Bills taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Buccaneers come in at 3-point favorites with a 52-point over-under. Vegas thinks this is going to be really high scoring, and I don't know if I'm on the same page. The Bills have looked lackluster on both sides of the ball lately, and I think that the offense could definitely turn around with the poor secondary of the Buccaneers. But Tom Brady is red hot right now, and Leonard Fournette is running at an all-time pace. And when you look at the Buffalo defense, they've been gashed in multiple games by running backs like Leonard Fournette. It's going to be a similar instance in this one. I believe the Bucs are going to put up a ton of points. The Bills will stick with it and make it competitive for probably the first half and watch the Buccaneers run away with it. I'm taking the Buccaneers at their -3. Lock it in.
Next up, we see the Chicago Bears take on the Green Bay Packers. The Packers come in as 11.5-point favorites against the Andy Dalton-led Chicago Bears with a 43.5-point over-under. I think that the Packers are going to absolutely annihilate this team. I don't see any offensive output coming from Chicago whatsoever. In fact, this could end up being a complete shutout. I don't expect anything happening unless David Montgomery can break one off. Not much is going to be allowed by the Green Bay defense, who's starting to get healthy, who's starting to get some of their key players back. They are playing at a great pace so far, and think about the fact that they could still add Zadarius Smith and Jair Alexander to this defense. That is just absolutely absurd. So the way the Packers are playing, the way they have to keep on competing to keep up with the Arizona Cardinals and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the NFC playoff picture, I expect them to get out to a very fast lead and hold on to it as they continue on their journey. I like the Green Bay Packers at -11.5.
And finally, for our Monday Night Football game, we have the Los Angeles Rams taking on the Arizona Cardinals for their second matchup of the year. The Cardinals coming in as 3-point favorites with a 51.5-point over-under. We saw the Cardinals have a very decisive victory over the Rams in Los Angeles the first time around. Now that they're in Arizona, I think it's going to be the same situation. We're going to see that the Arizona Cardinals continue to dominate, continue to show that they are leaps and bounds better than the Los Angeles Rams, who on paper look fantastic, but somehow cannot figure out how to get it rolling on the field. Matthew Stafford is not as good as everybody's saying he is, and it's going to come to the forefront in this matchup. Cardinals are going to run away with it, take them at their spread.
That is a lot of harsh criticism for the Los Angeles Rams, but honestly, it's deserved. I mean, they have not been the team we have expected them to be, and I think that this is an opportunity for them to possibly right the ship with Odell Beckham Jr. and Von Miller fully ingrained into this team and this culture. We need to start seeing output from these players. They went out and spent a ton of capital getting these guys, and now we need to see it come to fruition. I think the Rams are up to the task, and I'm kind of with you. I think the Cardinals at -3 is good, but that is very risky as well. I like the Rams too. It's kind of a crapshoot for me, so I would stay away from this game. But Nick, if you're comfortable with the cards, I guess so am I. All right, well, I want to hear from you guys, so let us know in the comments down below. If you make any bets based on our predictions, let us know in the comments down below. Let us know how much money you guys end up winning, because I guarantee we're going to help you get some. All right, well, that's going to be all for now. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell. We go live every single day. That'll be all. Peace and love.